What's happening, Greenville? And today we are back with this week's episode. And oh boy, is this going to be an episode? My goodness, with everything that's happened so far this week, with Monday that happened, with the two guys leaving, we got two guys coming in halfway through the season. We've got trades happening. It's a special one, and thankfully we've got Noel here to discuss it with us. Noel, we're so happy to have you here with us, man.
Appreciate it, fellas. Excited for the what I think will be the best podcast of the year.
Absolutely. Chris, James, the three of us are back together again. It's been forever since,
Feels so
since
good.
the three of us.
Feels nice.
It's fantastic. And of all weeks to be back together too. Like this is a week. So fellas, let's not like waste any time. Let's just kind of jump into Monday, because I don't think any of us woke up expecting Monday to be what it was. So, James, as commish, I'll hand it off to you to lead us off. Kind of what was your take about Monday with Chuckles and Ice leaving, man?
And first, before we get into that, could you actually just go through a timeline of like events? Having other things to do, I think a lot of people felt like, wait, what's going on? So just like timeline of events and lay that out for us.
Yeah. So Monday, Chuck had posted, I think around 8 a.m. I'm going to go with 7:58. That may be wrong. That probably is wrong, but I'll go with 7:58.
Yes.
Chuck posted that basically he was done. And, he wished everyone the best of luck, hoped that Ricky ended up winning it all at the end of the day, which I thought was a very nice gesture, considering he and Ricky have beefed a little bit over the last few years. But I had texted him after that to verify and just get a little bit of clarity about, like, hey, it seems like you're saying you're done, but are you, or are you just, you just running your mouth, blowing off some steam? Who could blame you, right? So texted him to get some clarity. He confirmed, yeah, I'm done. And at that point, we began the search to look for a new member to replace him. Daniel is a coworker of mine, and we've talked fantasy football many times. We probably have lunch together 2-3 times a week, and he's in a number of leagues. He actually took my place in a dynasty league that I used to be in, funny enough.
Huh. Nice.
We had no connection when he got hired in, but he took my place. I still take flack in that league for supposedly some bad trades that I made while I was there, but I had an eye towards the future to set my next owner up for success. And given Daniel's last place standing in that league, I guess I didn't do a very good job at that. So I think the haters are probably right in that case. But we had talked about before, if there's a spot that opens up, next season, Daniel would love to be in. So when we had the spot open up, this season, not under the circumstances that we would have wanted to, I let him know and asked if he was still interested. We talked through some of the rules of the league, some of the specifics, and he was in. And when we made that announcement, probably around noon, I'd say, I'll go 12-12 on that one. Iceman had texted at that point, and I had texted him earlier in the day and said, hey, like, it looks like Chuck's officially out. I hope you want to stay in the league. Know that you're, we love having you, and we hope that you, continue on. And we really do. Like, I think both Chuck and Iceman were both awesome additions to the league and have been a big part of what we've been building here over the last few years. So, and he had replied, and I think he misunderstood. At the time, he thought Chuck was just running his mouth, and he thought that Chuck meant at the end of the season. Well, when it became clear that Chuck meant today, I think he was kind of taken aback, and he felt like the spot was filled too quickly, and he felt like he didn't know anybody in the league well enough to continue on. Chuck was his connection, childhood pals, and without Chuck being here, he said he's enjoyed the time in the league and he likes everybody. He just felt disconnected, and so he didn't think he wanted to continue forward anymore, unfortunately. And so, and I told him like, hey, we love having you, but I'm not going to fight you on it. If you don't want to be here, then that's fine. And we'll try to find a second replacement. So I gave him the opportunity to, do you want to say goodbye to everybody or do you want me to announce it? And he said, I trust you to announce it. And then that was that. I mean, it was a shocking and exhausting day for sure.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
7:48 was Chuck's message. You're close, very close. And then when Daniel joined, 12:56.
So not really close on that one. Yeah.
But yeah, that was just an insane morning of just like, what in the world is going on? Like, that was wild. Absolutely wild.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm actually just more looking at timestamps.
I know. I mean, it's wild. I think, like you said, James, there's no ill will. There's no pre-planning. Chuck said, hey, I'm done, and he was done. We're going to obviously keep the league going. I think we've all probably experienced in other leagues where someone quits on the team, and I mean, even in the past, we've had players that seem kind of quit. It becomes really unfair when someone's not setting their lineup to whoever gets to play them. So I think it's a testament to you as a commissioner to looking to always fill those seats, and keep the league integrity high. I mean, we kind of joke around about a bunch of this stuff, but it makes it fun to have actual competition and not just a cakewalk win because someone's not setting their lineup. So,
that is part of the reason why I was so against some of the council's decisions thus far this year, is because I didn't want it to end up being a situation like that where a team gets an auto win every week. Unfortunately, I did see this as something that I anticipated coming during the season because of this decision by the council. But again, he still had a pretty solid roster, pretty good record. I think he could have made some noise at least if he had finished out the year. So it would have been good to see that. But I am happy that all teams are full strength at this point for the remainder of the season. I think that'll make it super interesting, especially with 2 new members. We don't really know what they're going to do or what they bring to the table. So a lot to be anticipated here in these final few weeks.
Yeah, and one thing I do want to say too is, this is something at the end of the day, this is for fun. And it should be something that brings fun, joy, fellowship. I know it's obviously not fun when your team's losing every week. Believe me, I understand that, going 0-4 to start the season, and having near panic attacks every day looking at my roster. But at the end of the day, this should be something that's for fun. And if you don't want to be here, we don't want you to be here. Not in a rude way, but this shouldn't be something that weighs on you and drains you. It's not worth that. It's just fantasy football at the end of the day.
Yeah. Well, and I think what's special about this league too, right? And the 16 of us that are in the league is that it's more than just a fantasy football league. And I have said this to Alyssa for years, and she saw it over the last couple of years of like, yes, we rag on each other and we beat the living daylights out of each other. But like, we all know that. But when we need something, or when we see that another one of us needs some support or some help, like, we are all the first ones there for that person. Like, no matter what, right? Like, no matter what. Like, I know for me personally, when my dad passed away a few years ago, bro, I came back, the whole house was clean. There was so much food in the fridge. The whole yard and everything was landscaped because it was the league. And it was like, this is it. Like, this is it. It's way more. And that's why I think the updates are such a big part of the league, because it's like, no, this isn't just us, drafting people and making trades. It's like, dude, this is way more than just a league of fantasy football. It's way more than that.
For sure.
Yeah.
Special community.
Yeah. No, I feel the exact same way of, like, I think it's why I hold the fantasy football in such, I keep talking about integrity and stuff. We need to have it because, I don't want something unfair to happen in the league that, makes people want to quit when there is just such a strong community. And as dumb as it sounds, like even if we're all super close friends, we have to have something that kind of keeps us chatting, keeps us in touch. And I think we all probably have a ton of friends maybe from high school or college where it's like, hey, if I ran into you, we'd have a great time, but we just have nothing to kind of keep us together. So yeah, I think it's important. And, I hope these new guys, maybe they get to listen to this podcast, kind of feel that early on that, hey, we're going to give you a lot of crap, but hey, we're also going to help you, or, just be around. So I hope they can fill the shoes. Chuck was at many of the events in Greenville. Iceman was able to come to the draft the one time, and I hope they want to step into what this league is, and hopefully it doesn't intimidate them. And we're welcoming in our own way. It's not kisses and hugs, but we're welcoming.
Well, and that's why on Monday, when Chuck said bye and when Chuck announced that he was gone, I was like, bro, no, you are not, like, I am not just letting you sail off on this, dude. There is no way. I am finding receipts of you. Like, this is not happening. You're just not going to go and no one's going to say anything. So that's why I had to go back into like 2022, 2023 of saying stuff and talking about Simone and bailing on. And I was like, no, this isn't happening. Like, you can't just go after all this crap that you've given about people mentally giving up or Timbo leaving or this, that, whatever. No, dude, I'm pulling out those receipts. And there were so many more receipts I could have gotten too. So many more. But I was like, I don't know. I was feeling a certain way Monday when I got that. And I was like, I was actually out working out and I was like pulling up the receipts and I was like, nope. Oh, it was
amazing.
So funny. Oh,
it's
it was
pretty
so
wild
funny.
that for two guys, Ice especially, that are like so honed in on like by the book stuff and like mental fortitude, not giving up, like all this like mental health stuff now of like your feelings doesn't matter, for that vibe to be the exact opposite of what was displayed for whatever reason. I mean, they probably obviously had their reasons, but it was just interesting that those two individuals were the two that ended up doing that and not the liberal of the group. So yeah, I find that a little bit ironic, that happened.
Oh, you will never catch me about anything like that, even remotely.
Mental health day.
Like giving up halfway through something? Are you kidding me? Are you like, you committed to something? See it through. Oh my. See it through, dude. How you do anything is how you do everything. I like 100%. I believe that. And if you give up like with something fun like this, what else are you giving up with? Oh, bro, I'm heated right now. This Dr. Pepper got me rolling.
I think that's the part of this whole thing that makes me the most sad is two guys that, we've all enjoyed fellowshipping with a lot over the last couple of years, and to see their times in this league and so unceremoniously, so abrupt, without a proper goodbye of any kind, and just seemingly totally out of the character that we've come to know of them, is the part that I think makes me the most sad about just how things played out on Monday. Because that opportunity won't come again. Like, it is what it is at that point. And I hate that their times in the league ended the way that it did. It should have, and hopefully, would have gone so much differently.
Yeah, how great would it have been for them, if they wanted to finish at the end of the season? How great of a send-off they possibly would have gotten.
Yeah.
As, two-time champion of the league in just a short time he was in it. Iceman, always with a competitive roster. Just what could have been. It'll always sit there. I definitely fall from grace for sure.
I think one of the other, on the flip side of that though, And this is something that I hope isn't missed in all this. Because yes, like there's an element of sadness, obviously, because we care about these people as people. Like outside of the league, like John was saying, we care about these people as friends, and and as someone that will always have great memories tied to this league. And we'll have to make sure that the Hall of Fame section of the league website includes some of the moments that both of those two brought to the league. I can Brandon Aubrey's one for Iceman that I think comes to mind right away. And that picture of him sitting with the Mostert jersey on and kind of the back of the basement, down there drafting next to Corbin. But there's also this element of this new dawn with these two new guys that are coming in, that I'm very grateful that they were willing to come in the middle of the league under, quite frankly, horrible circumstances. Like, I cannot imagine being them. And my first impression of this league is everyone is shocked and upset and sad. And, they're replacing these two guys that were, such pillars of this league. It has to feel weird, but I'm so grateful that they were willing to step in anyway, in the midst of some of that ambiguity and just uncertainty of what this season's going to hold for them as well. Even being willing to take on, and I told them when they came in, like, we will not hold you to the full punishment. You did not draft this team. We're already halfway through the season. We'll do an abbreviated punishment of sorts if it comes to that. But I don't think either one of them will be in position to be playing for the Hot Dog Bowl anyway. They inherited two really decent rosters in a great position and good records. But yeah, just super excited to have them in and really grateful they were willing to jump in.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like you said, it's a new dawn. I think these guys are gonna be awesome. I want to not shy over Wes's comment. Maybe the greatest message ever sent in Discord about I want to quit if I lost to me too. That was amazing.
Yeah,
just nowhere to be seen. It's probably sent 10 messages ever, and they're just out of nowhere. Oh man, that one had me dying.
And then didn't say anything else.
Yes,
that was it. He just popped in, said that, and then left, and hasn't said anything since.
Yeah, for another 2 weeks, maybe the whole season.
Well, I think when you talk about doing your talking on the field and like giving a response to somebody, like Chuck has been riding Wes all year long to see if he'll break. They finally play, and Chuck quits after losing to him. I mean, if that's not the ultimate, like, I don't know what is.
Didn't Wes initially name his team something like "Name for Chuck" or something like that?
Yeah, because Chuck. I mean, so we have not railed these two guys like we railed Wes in the beginning, but yeah, Chuck was like, dude can't even name his team. And
That's right.
It was something like just "Name for Chuck." Yeah,
I would love if he changed the name of his team back to that at this point.
That'd be awesome.
Would be
Wes, if you're listening to this, if you ever listen to any of these, please change your team name. That would just be fantastic. Yeah. Absolutely fantastic.
It's also funny because like we never see him in the chat, so obviously he is reading, keeping up a little bit. So maybe he closeted watches our podcast too.
Yeah, sure.
No, I wouldn't bet on it.
Yeah. James probably just told him that. Was that your comment, James? It's another fake account that James runs.
That's right.
Another bot. Wes.
Yeah.
Another bot.
Actually, Carlos is Wes.
Oh, full circle.
Freaking Carlos, dude. Hey, shout out these two new guys for coming in though. We already got Bob, who's already made a big time trade.
Huge.
Bob, way to go, Bob. What about Bob? Love it. And then freaking Daniel, Dan the man coming in and immediately being like, hey, I'm throwing these two guys up on the trade block. Hit me up. And then I think Corbin ruined it all because Corbin was like, hey, check your DMs. And immediately Daniel was like, nope, I'm not trading anybody. Not doing it. So way to go, Corbin. But shout out these two new guys, man, for coming in like hot.
Ready to roll.
Dude, Bob rolled in and pulled off within minutes the biggest trade of the season so far. within minutes.
Oh yeah. No, the second I saw him join Sleeper, I was just like going in about to hit some just horrendous trades, stuff that I never expect to happen, and then I stopped and I was like, I bet they've already had other ones. Like I bet this is not going to be the first one.
They have.
Yeah, I didn't want that to be my first impression. I figured, yeah.
I want to know how bad.
Great.
I want to know how bad. That's what I want to know.
Guys.
Like, please, I want to know how bad.
So we're in full transparency. Our goal is to have both of them on the next podcast next week. And that might be a question that we can ask them next week to find out what's the worst offer you've gotten.
Yeah.
I'm putting money on Luke and Corbin. That's what I'm
putting. Luke for sure. I mean,
DJ's probably in it too.
DJ.
But that's the thing, that DJ pulled off a deal with Bob.
DJ and Bob traded.
If you break him down enough, it'll usually go the opposite way. Now, I don't think this trade was too bad for either side. I understand it for both. But typically in the past, I feel like he'll start off really wild, won't really know what happens. 25 minutes later, he's sending a lot of good players out of the team. So I am happy that at least it didn't go that far for him this time.
So, Noel, let me ask you this then. Is that why you ride DJ so hard all the time? You're constantly strategizing how to break him down for the next trade offer to come up?
Possibly. Don't want to give too many tricks away.
Noel's thinking like 2 months down the road. He's like, I know that this deal right now isn't going to happen, but if I work it enough, in 2 months, I'm going to get a deal.
Yeah. No, Noel probably loved DJ's draft and said, you know what? This is the first seed. I'm going to tell him his team sucks. It's worse than Corbin.
Plant it now. We're just
plant that seed and let it grow.
I wish that was the case. Unfortunately, it was not.
Oh, that's so funny. Noel, what is your take on the trade? Because honestly, hearing your trade evaluation after each and every trade that happens is like it's one of my favorite things. I so look forward to it because like you're gonna say it, and then whoever made the deal is gonna be like, whoa, hey, whoa, right? Always. So Noel, what's your take, especially with this being DJ?
So I like the move for both teams. I feel like everything makes sense other than DJ getting 2 Texans receivers in Jalen Noel and Jaden Higgins now, having both on his roster. I feel like as Nico and Christian Kirk come back, Dalton Schultz is still going to get pass-catching work. Yeah, their running backs don't get a ton of targets, but you possibly now have the 4th and 5th option on the Texans. I like the other pieces he got. I think that adding ETN was pretty big for him, especially with how much Scary Terry is hurt. I mean, I think they already ruled him out for this upcoming week. The quarterback swap, I don't think really means a whole lot since both teams pretty much already have their starters, and these will be backup pieces. I didn't really look too much into the IDP moves, but they seem to be semi-equivalent. I do think that if DJ had held on to Bam Knight, having Trey Benson, he's guaranteed a starting running back for the rest of the season. Overall, I think it's pretty even. The main thing that got me was the 2 Texans receivers, because I really think they're pretty much interchangeable, and the rest of the season, I think they're going to be like 5 fantasy points apiece, and that's not going to be super valuable. But overall, not a terrible trade. Same with the Brad and Chris trade. I think both teams got better from it and got what they needed out of it. Brad had obviously a plethora of running backs. It was a similar scenario that I was in that year that I had the undefeated regular season, of having a lot of good backs and trying to get 2 of them packaged for one better. I remember that year I was really trying to package Mostert and Javonte for one of the top tier backs and just couldn't make it happen. So I do think it was a good move for him. I think he should be a little bit apprehensive here that moving forward. He has a plethora of riches. We'll talk about it later, but we'll sneak peek. I do think he is the best team in the league at this point. And I'm a little bit scared that he's going to get a little bit greedy here, try to get really, really strong pieces, and end up losing all of that great depth that he has, which is the reason I lost that first round game to Corbin. because I had one of the best starting lineups I've ever seen in a fantasy football league and had absolutely nothing on the bench, and it cost me. He has so many options right now. I just don't want him. Well, I do want him to start screwing it up, but for his sake, I think at this point he's got a great setup. I think he should probably just hold on to what he's got and ride this out because I mean the skill position players he has are fantastic.
So Noel, a couple things I want to throw in there. First of all, the trade between Bob and DJ, and I'll give DJ props for this one. The IDP he acquired, Tyson Campbell, is actually the number one cornerback in the league this season.
Okay.
So that's a big pickup for DJ. Really improves his defense.
Bates as a name is solid. Has he been down this year?
He has been down this year. He's fine, but he's ranked 76 for defensive backs this year. So he's not
good move there.
Good move there for DJ. And then, one thing with Brad, you mentioned being too greedy. It reminds me of someone else in the league who they have noticeably similar patterns of thinking. They tend to like the same players. They tend to draft using similar strategies. I think William Corbin's a perfect example of a cautionary tale for what Brad could become if he's not careful.
My goodness. If that man left his roster untouched, the places he would be in right now. I don't want to give away too much for the top three teams. I do still think he has a good roster. It just, man, if he just didn't do anything, it would be so much better.
How bad of a trade do you think that is, in all seriousness, for William, the one that he made Saturday?
I really did hate it for him. I mean, I think he was, having made the Jordan Love trade, which I don't think he really should have made, because his whole thing was having a quarterback for this bye week, and he had a great quarterback for this bye week, gave it up, and has been going crazy trying to find a replacement. If anything, the year that I had that undefeated regular season, I had Hurts. I think my backup was Bryce Young, his rookie year, and was just terrified for that week. I had enough wins at that point. Sometimes you just got to let it ride out and see what happens. You lose one, that's fine. But he just tried so much to make up for that quarterback spot that it just really doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. And again, there's some managers in the league that are very savvy. There's some that just get a little bit too much over their head. And I think it starts to show at this point. One of the reasons on draft night, I said that Jose had one of the best rosters, but I did not think it was going to pan out well for him. Obviously, he's been unlucky with the points against. But still, I do think that plays a big role in who's managing the team. So I think the first trade was a real negative for him. And this last one, I mean, I really just didn't understand it. You have three guys that are trending upward that you're getting rid of for a guy who I feel like is going to be pretty pedestrian at 11 or 12 points a week. And sure enough, these 2 weeks that CeeDee's been back, he's been at 11 or 12 points. I really just don't get it for him as much as he values upside. I mean, having a Jets running back that's young when Brees might be out the door in a trade, I would feel like he'd be salivating over that. And sure enough, even with Brees playing this last week, had a great game. I feel like it's only upward for him. Braylon Allen, I think, is out for the year or out for an extended period of time. And their quarterback play sucks, so it's going to be check downs, and it's going to be a lot of runs. The 49ers can't figure out their passing attack at all. So if Ricky does come back, I think he's going to be a viable option for them. I really just do not understand the move. I don't really understand what his thinking was behind it. I think it was a great move by Brad. Get a bunch of assets and then ship a couple of your guys out to get a stud in Achane. Again, really smart managerial moves against ones that I just didn't really get.
Yeah, and one thing that also surprises me from the North Korean and Kim's perspective is one of the reasons why he wanted to get rid of players was to free up bench spots. He made the move to trade away Dylan Gabriel as well Saturday, looking to get rid of some. He had like 3 QBs in his roster, like 2 low end, and then Jalen Hurts. Well, this week I'm looking at his roster again, and he spent $6 on Geno Smith, who's one of the worst QBs in the league, and then he also added again Tyler Shuck. So it's like he's got 3 QBs again, and they're arguably worse than the ones that he had before all these trades were made. And
For sure.
and his team is now worse than before the trade was made as well. So it's a bizarre situation. He's right back to where he was, just at a lower level.
I will say this on the Geno Smith is that I did because I had Geno and then I dropped him this past week so I could pick up a cornerback who sucked for me, or no, linebacker. That was so upsetting. Anyway, I did offer Corbin. I was like, hey, I'll switch out Gabriel for Geno, and he was like, dude, Geno's one of the worst quarterbacks in the league.
And then he wasted his $6 a foul. That's what I mean. Stuff like that is why I just don't get it. I just don't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
I'd love to see it. Wait, Corbin, keep it up. I'm proud of you.
Keep going.
I'm proud of you.
We were all afraid that you would get a third win, but
yeah, you're on the right track, Corbin, to not getting that championship. So I'm proud of you. Keep going the direction that you're going. I love it. I mean, I'm not one to talk. I'm friggin' 2-6, so it sucks.
Picking up Geno Smith and Tyler Shaw, like you said, is just Anyway, good for him. Good for him.
Chris, how did you feel making that HN deal today, man?
Yeah, it was a tough decision, honestly. I like HN. I was, we were going back and forth with a couple different moves, and really, I just needed depth. I mean, I've been so thin, so having 2 starting players that is not, 2 tight ends or kind of what I've been forced to do felt good. Felt good to get something done. And again, a little bit of it is just a diversity play. If HN goes down or kind of starts crapping the bed a little more, he's been a great player. It gave me some confidence that going into what's probably going to be the losers bracket, I have more pieces that hopefully one of them, any given week, one of them could put up a ton of points. Happy to get some done. Definitely gives me some more room. Still have some possible options to make now, just that I have different pieces. So felt it was honestly tough to hit the accept button, but at the end of the day, I'm happy I did it.
Well, I'm thrilled that you added in multiple weapons before our game this week. So very excited about that. My projected win percentage plummeted after that trade. There was a piece of me that thought, maybe I'll just wait till Monday to process this one, but couldn't do it.
Yep. That's why we call you Corrupt Commish.
That's right.
One note on that before we move into matchup reviews. Chris, I had been talking with Brad all day long about working out a deal. All day long. And he was like, dude, here's my number. Text me. Let's text this. Let's figure this out. It goes through. And I text in. I'm like, dude, that's cold. Like, we were literally just texting about a deal. And he's like, what? What do you mean? I was like, the deal you just made with Chris. He was like, it went through? I was like, what? What do you mean?
That's, well,
it's not on you.
A little bit. No. Well, let me tell you when I kind of maybe messed up. So we were talking, I proposed something that I would be 100% okay with, had some more pieces. He sent something back. I accepted it. I didn't look in Sleeper. He had sent me a second trade that is more in line. Like, either way, I think it's all good trades. More in line with what I originally wanted. So then I messaged him right back and was like, did you actually send me this? And he hasn't responded. So I think he sent that kind of being like, we're going to counter somewhere in the middle, and then immediately send me that next one. So I think I messed up a little bit. Could have got a little bit more from him, but it is what it is. Yeah, he sent me his number, sent me the wrong number actually to text him. And then
that's hilarious.
We were able to connect on any of the other 3 platforms that we already have working. Again, I was happy to get done. I figured there's probably some other talks in line, and at the end of the day, I truly think like this is a trade where we both gained what we need for our teams, and
Totally.
no losers in this one. So happy to get it done. And Brad, like I said, the first time I traded with him was, I forget, it was like a right after draft trade. I was like, Brad's just too nice not to want to trade with. Like, some of these guys, I'm like, oh, I really want to rally you up, but Brad's just a nice guy. Can't help but help himself. That's right.
Where he gets you.
Yeah.
Cold-blooded.
Yeah. So anyway, it was good. It was a good chat with Brad. Glad we got it done.
Cold-blooded. Anyway, should we look at this last these matchup reviews?
Let's do it.
Let's do it, man. Let's do Kamish. Was there a game that stood out to you, that was shocking to you?
Yeah, 1,000%. So if y'all remember, the game of the week last week was the, at the time, 6-1 Children of the Corn versus the 6-1 North Korean Fighting Kims, and it was not close from the very first minute that the games had begun. It was Ricky's to lose, and he ended up running away with it, steamrolling Corbin, who obviously made the trade that we have just been talking about here for a little bit, but it sent Corbin into a full-blown spiral. I mean, if you watched his press conference, you can see that the wheels are falling off for the 6-2 North Korean Fighting Kims. You'd think he's 2-6 now. So great job on Ricky's part. I think his team looks really strong and dangerous. He's sitting at 7-1, and I don't see him slowing down anytime soon.
No, that dude's rolling. Noel, how about you? Was there a game that stood out to you, or a game that you specifically want to talk about?
Yeah, unfortunately, your game was one that really stuck out to me. Truly shocking. Let me just pull it up here. I think he had, was it 3 guys on defense that were not playing, were on a bye in his starting lineup.
Yeah, a kicker and 2 IDPs.
Oh yeah, the kicker right there. Yeah, Dak got him 4 points. I mean, a dream scenario there. And yeah, I mean, you don't have a bad lineup if you look at it. Herbert, Pollard, Sutton, Higgins, DJ Moore, even Fannin for Cleveland, who's been going crazy. Some pretty solid defensive guys, and it did just not come together at all for you. And I feel like that's kind of been the story of the season for you. We were talking a little bit about it. I was saying, a couple of the guys, I think my roster, your roster, and Iceman's, RIP Ice, were really good on draft night. Really solid pieces. Everything was kind of there, and it just hasn't panned out. So I think that was really a tough one, because if you had been 3-5 after this week, totally different scenario, similar, and why I was so excited that I was able to pull off the win this past week, because the difference between 2-6 and 3-5 this season is huge.
Huge.
3-5. I'm a couple games out. I'm feeling good. 7th most points for. Like, I feel like I'm in a good spot. Whereas if I had been 2-6 after this week, even with the same points for, totally different feeling. That was one that you really needed to have, and not getting it, I can't even imagine how you were feeling after that one, especially with McNichols doing some stuff. You're only down by 6. Yeah, I would have been in a rough place after that one if I were you.
I was down bad after the Broncos game. Like,
yeah, I mean, that's unreal to have something like that happen.
Just every touchdown, everything went to Harvey or Franklin. And I was like, Harvey scored his first touchdown. All right, it is what it is. Second one, it is what it is. And then the third one, and I was like,
I was just looking, five of his games combined this year, he scored less than he did in the game this week. It's crazy.
Yeah, I was down bad.
And he had 27% of snaps. He hardly even was on the field. I mean,
just a touchdown merchant.
His snaps didn't really go up at all. It was the last 4 weeks, 20%, 28%, 25%, 27%.
And good thing Denver doesn't have a wide receiver number 1 that Bo Nix can throw the ball to. Oh, wait, they do. It's Sutton, who is on my bench.
6'4", 216, absolute stallion of a man, and yeah, nothing.
Can't even give him the ball. Just unreal.
That's tough.
I was down bad Sunday night, man. I was down bad. That's all right. You know, it's just another opportunity to show y'all what's up, to show Corbin that I'm better than him. Chris, how about you, dude?
Yep. I'm looking at poor Jose, Team Billy Buck versus Dolphin Death. Obviously, Dolphin Death. I mean, he was projected 191. He hit 192. You know, from projections wise, wasn't really close. But again, Billy Buck had Joe Flacco, who put up 32 points, which greatest $50 spent in Fab. If we look at a points per dollar, much more than Kayshon Boutte and all these other guys. James Cook putting up 43. You know, the rest of the team not doing much. Jerry Jeudy putting up a blanker. Kind of, you know, when you have weeks like that where you have a running back putting up 40 points, your quarterback putting up over 30, you have Rome Odunze putting up close to 20. Your kicker, Boswell, didn't even see this. He put up 22 points. Like, that's a matchup where you should get a win and, you know, kind of just hit the buzzsaw that's Dolphin Death. But it's been his whole season of, you know, he is, if we had a straight points league, he's doing all right. But man, being 2-6, like you were saying, Noel, it's like the difference between 3-5 and 2-6 feels huge. 3-5, I think you have hopes of playoffs, and 2-6, you're just preparing for the toilet bowl. So that one was again another one I feel bad for Jose.
Yeah. Well, and I'll say this too. You know, Dolphin Death, Breece Hall was questionable heading into that game, and questionable to the point where he actually, because I can see it here, he actually used his auto sub on Breece. So Breece puts up 37 points to counteract Cook's 43. If Breece Hall doesn't play, that's a blowout for Jose. If Breece Hall does play and puts up a very strong 17 points, that's a win for Jose. Yeah. A wild turn of events for Breece to put up that much points in a very dismal Jets offense, who somehow puts up 39 points out of nowhere against the Bengals, who truly have one of the worst defenses probably the NFL has seen in the last decade.
And I believe I'm correct. I'm going to see if I can see this. Yes, first touchdown for Breece Hall was this week, and he got 2.
No way.
I feel like usually points against are typically like pretty close from first to second, second to third, and so on. I am second in points against and have 70 less points against than Jose does. I mean, that's a drastic number between first and second, 8 weeks into the season.
Wow.
He's just been super unlucky, and I do feel for the guy because I feel like this was his year to turn it around, and it just has not happened.
Yeah, you're right. It's funny because every other year it's kind of been his team. We look at it and like, yeah, there's a reason. You know, you're in last year, but this year, very unlucky.
Especially with how he started the season.
Yeah.
The first, 4 games, was it? It was like 200 plus, 220 plus. It was like, dude, there's no stopping this dude.
Well, even after losses on the podcast, our guests still had him in the top 3 for a while, probably the first month of the year.
Yeah.
So for him to be at 2-6 is almost unimaginable at this point.
That's wild. Man, imagine me in 2-6. That sucks. I think a matchup that stood out to me was Wes's knocking Chuck out. Because literally, like, knocked him. He beat him so bad. Myles Garrett beat him so bad. The Tennessee offense and McLaughlin, the kicker for Tampa Bay, essentially those 4 players beat Chuck. Like, that's what it was. You've got the 2 players from a dismal Tennessee offense for Wes get almost 30 points. No, over 30 points. And then you've got a kicker and Myles Garrett get 40 points between the two of them. Like, that's insane. And so that kind of blew me away, because Carson Wentz, West started Carson Wentz, who got 4.5 points. Marvin Mims, who had 2 points. It was just like shocking to see who got points for Wes's team, and West to get that dub. That shocked me.
But for Myles Garrett to double his sack total on the season in a single game that they got killed in is crazy.
Yeah,
that was shocking.
And looking at this matchup, one quick thing is, Chuck wasn't able to play a kicker that wasn't on bye and was missing IDP, and that probably leads into part of it is he's looking at this like, I probably had a chance to win if I could make moves. So again, feel for him, but actions have consequences.
Dude, Fafo,
That's right.
Also, shout out, honorable mention, Cox on Top losing to you, Chris, after he had auto dub loading. So well done, Chris. Well done.
Thank you. None other than really Jordan Love sealing the deal there. Just it's fitting in so many aspects of that. And I was pulling a Corbin. I was like, I'm not even rostering a full team. I had to drop so many people. And then about 1:00 halfway through, I was like, I have a legit chance. So picked up some players. And it didn't end up really being the difference, but I definitely got some points on the board that, wasn't going into the thing, wasn't able to. So yeah, it definitely felt like I stole one, but it's what you got to do.
It was awesome.
A couple things on that really stand out to me. I mean, Chris is dead on. Like, his whole bench, if you look at it, was pretty much on a bye, including major contributors both on the defensive side of the ball, but then the offensive side of the ball, Puka and Marvin Harrison Jr. being out, and him still winning against a John team that had Jackson Dart, Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs. Like, this was the first time, and Kittle's back. Like, this was the first time that those guys were all able to play together after his big trade to acquire King Henry. We've talked about him being a top team in this league, but when you look at his performance over the last 3 weeks, losses to Chris, losses to me, barely beating DJ. I mean, those are things that if you're going to be a top 3 team in this league, that's concerning. At some point, what's on paper doesn't matter, and the results are what matters. And it's not like he's scoring high points and losing these games. Like, he put up 129, which I think was the worst in the league. I'm trying to verify that.
For this week, yeah.
It was the worst in the league this week. So you can't be doing that and consider yourself a top 3 team.
Yeah. And I was the most efficient manager because I had 0 bench points. So it's tough to beat that.
Because they were all on a bye.
Because no one played except the people that are starting.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Any other either matchups that stood out to you, or even personal, like, individual players that stood out to you from this past weekend?
So I do have a matchup I want to shout out, and it is the Noel versus Iceman / Bob matchup. Really thought Bob was going to get his first league win on his first night in the league after making no moves. Travis Kelce came through to save the day, and it ended up being fairly comfortable, an 8-point victory, but it was not comfortable at all on Monday night. I'm sure, Noel, like, what were your emotions like watching that game?
Just short portion of the game. Was actually watching the Love is Blind wedding ceremonies. So I was watching Gamecast on the ESPN app on my phone while that was on. And by the time it got to the fourth quarter, I'd had enough, needed to put the game on. Was happy I did not have it on for the first 3 quarters because I would have been really unwell. But kept seeing that freaking defensive end kept getting sacks that Iceman picked up in his final move in the league. 2 sacks. I don't think he's had any on the season, or maybe 1 or 2. But Was not confident. And Nick Bolton is a really good defensive player. McDuffie can get a pick, and Mariota is prone to throwing them. And yeah, I mean, Ertz is a PPR machine. So heading into the night was not confident. Even heading into that fourth quarter was not confident, but really happy that it ended up turning out that way.
Yeah, that was a wild night and just a wild game as a whole there. And like you talked about earlier, the difference between 3-5 and 2-6 is massive, and it was that close to being a 2-6.
Yeah, and I think that was Kelsey's like legitimate first big game that he's had this year, right? I haven't really looked into him, but
steady. But yes, I think that may have been his best game.
Yeah, I think so too.
Tight end week.
But yeah, that's right. It was National Tight End Day, the tight end weekend. That's why you had the power with you.
Yep.
The power with you.
Yeah.
Chris, what about you, man? Was there another game?
Yeah, it was the other Cousin Bowl. Unfortunately, James versus Luke.
That was unfortunate.
You know, it's always unfortunate when Luke is doing well. But honestly, two of the hottest quarterbacks right now kind of match up between Drake May and Bo Nix. You know, maybe a little slower start to the season, but both guys have been consistently putting up pretty high points. Bo Nix had 32 this week. Drake May had 28, and then you know, it really was the Saquon show, unfortunately, for Luke. Kind of again his first big game. I should probably fact check myself. Yeah, first time over 20 points actually for the season. Puts up 36 against the Giants, which kind of makes sense. So again, unfortunate matchup. I mean, I don't think we really thought that would go the other way of James getting the win, but I think, you know, it could have been closer for sure. So yeah, that one stood out.
Yeah, I certainly didn't see it being that big of a blowout. I thought it was possible that we'd keep it close, and I thought it was likely that we keep it within 10, 15. Didn't see it going 50 points.
Yeah.
That was tough.
Largest point difference of this week.
Oof.
I think it's the only matchup we haven't touched on, DJ and Brad. One thing to note on that one, DJ lost by 13 points and Bijan scored 3. I know that I am the number one enemy and antagonist of DJ's team, and I'll get into it a little bit more later, but I really don't hate his roster that much at this point. I think opposite of some other teams, I think he is in a better position now than he was on draft day. Some stuff's worked out for him that I didn't think would, but that could have been a wild game. Bijan scores his usual 20 plus points, or even, you know, mediocre 15. He still gets close there to a dub. Could have been totally different too. That would put him at 5-3 and Brad at 5-3 atop the division. So another big game there that did not go DJ's way, but definitely could have.
One note on that too is seeing the big game that Tucker Kraft had, that essentially saved, that saved this matchup for Brad, because his running backs did kind of have a more of a down week, right? Like a decent game. But I mean, freaking Tucker Kraft coming in with nearly 32 points. But like, whenever I see Tucker Kraft do well, I always go back to draft night when you were just like, when Brad sniped him and it just left you, and I was like, dude, that's a big one, man.
In our trade today, I couldn't put anything together that really made sense, but I was like, I'm gonna try for Tucker. It just wouldn't have made sense, but yeah. No. I think a few weeks the difference has been Brad has Tucker Kraft in his wins. You know, a tight end getting the normal like 5 to 7 points or even 10 points would have not give Brad the wins. Great move on his part, but man,
brutal. But I mean, at the same time, Tucker Kraft also helped give Jordan Love 40 points to help give you the dub. So in a way,
hey,
you know, He
Very
gave you the
symbiotic
win.
relationship here. Yeah.
Right.
For real. For real. All this means is if Jordan Love has a good week, he's going to have a really bad week. So I'm expecting like 3 points against you, James, from Jordan Love. So hopefully you can overcome that.
I hope so. We'll see what Bo can do. I Bo leave.
Tell him to freaking throw
Biscuit
the ball
believe.
to Cortland Sutton. Throw the ball, please.
Trust me, no one would love that more than me.
Holy
It is
smokes.
painful watching the Broncos play 75% of the time. The other 25% of the time, they go gangbusters, using the most random of guys.
Spread it around. Share the love.
Stupid. All right, on to bigger and better because we're moving on. The past is behind us. Monday, the past is behind us. Sunday, this past weekend, it's all behind us. We're moving on forward. We're pressing on. What do we got for matchups upcoming? Commish, what do we got? Game of the week this week, man.
All right, game of the week, I believe, has huge potential to define seasons. Okay, the game of the week this week is actually our dear friend Noel, who's a guest on the podcast today, going up against Daniel, ICE HR department. So obviously for Daniel, he's sitting at 4-4 atop the Deep South Division. Noel looking to get back on track. For Noel to be at 4-5 after being 2-5 would be massive. To go and land at 3-6, I don't think there is a bigger gap this right now than being 3-5, or 3-6 versus 4-5. I mean, the gap between those sounds enormous. And likewise for Daniel, his team has lost 2 in a row. They were 4-2. He's got to get him back on track. And he's got a good roster. He's got a talented roster. Current projections are that one. Nola's favored 53% to 47%. Everything's indicating it'll be a close game. The eye test looks like it'll be a close game. But I think that one is a season-defining game for both teams.
1,000%. I mean, yeah. Before all the stuff went down Monday, I think the projection was like 185 to 118. I was feeling pretty good. But obviously, I'm happy I get to go against the full roster. Yeah, it's gonna be a huge game. I need it. I need it big time. I need all the guys that have been mediocre this season, which has pretty much been my whole roster, besides Daniel Jones and Javonte. Even IDPs. Last week, my offense didn't even do terrible, but I had so many IDPs: 2 points, 1.5 points, 2 points. Guys that I need double digits from. So this is a chance for them all to perform. Buys are over with for the most part. I don't have a ton of guys on buy. This is kind of my full squad. So if they don't, I think it will be indicative of a playoff miss for me this season.
Well, and going against you is Lamar's return. Lamar's back, and he gets Miami. I mean, that has the potential to be a lot of points in his game back, but also it's his first game back in like a month and a half. So maybe he's not quite as sharp as as he would have liked to have been for this game.
I think that's a good call out. Chris, you got a match coming up this weekend. What's on your head? What do you see?
Yeah. I'm looking at the Children of the Corn versus Cox on top matchup. I think for Ricky, auto dub loading. Ricky's obviously 7-1, been just a steamroller. And we keep talking about Kurth, like projections always high, team looks good, don't know what he's gonna do. I think it's a really big game for him. Kind of right the ship, get that 5th win, and start. He is not safe in the playoffs yet. And now's the time where he needs to be able to stack a few wins to get there. So I think that's gonna be a huge matchup. I think it'll be close. I think it'll be tight, and we'll see. The loss doesn't really matter obviously as much for Ricky, but I still think 8-1, 9-1, like those are good numbers. You feel really good. But for Kurth, it's again, I think this can be the season's here. Like this is a win if he can keep moving on. So that'll be a tight matchup.
And Chris, you touched on a great point there. 8-1. Ricky could be the first team to punch his ticket to the playoffs. I mean, historically speaking, once you get to 8, you're in pretty much no matter what. And I don't think we've ever had a team with a winning record that missed out. So for him to be potentially booking his spot after the draft night that he had and how we all viewed his team, and this early on in the season, great job on Ricky's part. I mean, this is one of the best managerial seasons I think we've seen from anybody in a long time.
Agreed. And I think one thing that's really working in Kurt's favor is the Scatabo injury, because now he's got Tracy coming on. Jackson Dart has been playing well. Tracy steps into that RB1 role in New York, which really fills a big gap for Kurth. So that'll be interesting to see what happens there. Noel, what about you? You got a matchup upcoming this weekend that's standing out to you?
Yeah, I got to throw it your way again. Your matchup with DJ is going to be a big one. Really surprised that the records at the very least are not flipped there, with him being 2-6 and you being 4-4. But just looking at it, I mean, projections are super close. I think DJ's made some moves to put himself into a decent spot. I don't love that he's starting Matt Collins. I think Matt Collins is a horrendous wide receiver in the NFL. But alas, here we are. I think that will, not having Pacheco this week for him will hurt. I know you have a couple of bye weeks this week as well. But I think it's going to be a really even matchup. I'm not going to rule out the playoffs for you at this point, just because there are so many teams muddying in the middle with mediocre records. But you lose this one, I think it's over. And I think this is a good week where you could take them. I mean, I got to look and see. Yeah, Chig has done absolutely nothing this year at his tight end spot. Again, Higgins or Noel, who does he go with? I think they're both kind of mediocre. And then Matt Collins. So, I mean, he had 1 week this past week where he did really well. And then outside of that, has not scored more than 7 points the whole season. So to be starting 3 guys like that, I think you have a golden opportunity to get a dub this week. And if it doesn't happen, I think that might be the end of the road. Start planning for week 17.
Yeah, no. One, I've already put like a hot dog, like a mass about how, a hot dog thing in my cart. So it's ready to buy just in case. But 2, I'm also excited to see DJ's guys and Higgins and Matt Collins. They haven't done anything all year. I'm excited to see them each catch 2 touchdowns and go for over 100 yards. It is. And Bijan is going to go for 60 points this week. It's going to be awesome. Yep. So I'm really excited for DJ. That's going to be great. I'm looking at Rory's matchup against Brad, the newly minted Brad's team. We see Brad play into that, his, whatever you want to call it, every single Sunday, right? But we'll really see, the move that he made, if he's happy with it, if he regrets it, if Achane does well, or if he kind of starts to falter with that Miami offense, and you see K-Dub, start to take reins in that Seattle offense a little bit, or Dobbins, continue his dominance in that Denver offense. So I'm really interested to see that role. Plus, on Rory's side, you got Rico, who is essentially taking over the reins in that Carolina offense. So I think that matchup is a really, really interesting to keep an eye on.
Yeah, one thing about Jamar Chase, since Joe Flacco has been at the helm in Cincinnati, he has amassed a very impressive 42 targets in his last 2 games.
That's crazy.
Which sounds, it sounds like a college wide receiver one from like Conference USA or something. It doesn't sound like something that'd be possible in the NFL. It almost sounds like Bo Nix has had games where he's passed fewer than that pass attempts. So that's something that I think has transformed Rory's season, at least as of now, is having Rico and Jamar Chase go off like that. Gadsden a terrific tight end that Rory has added to his roster after we all mocked him for dropping Ingram. Well, he's gotten the last laugh there as well. I mean, Ingram hasn't done a whole lot since his release, so Noel can speak to that personally. But I think that's one where Rory's got a really big chance there, and I misspoke earlier. Rory's actually leading the Deep South after his horrible start to the season, and we all looked like he was possibly the worst team in this league. He now is leading the Deep South, and for him to go up against Big Bad Brad, who's leading the Southeast, that's a potential playoff matchup right there. Great test for his team.
Yeah, agreed. Commish, you got another game upcoming that's standing out to you?
Yeah, North Korean Fighting Kims, Billy Buck. All right.
Game.
Projections on this one aren't particularly close. However, neither projection is particularly high. All right. So the Kims are projected at 164 with Geno Smith at the helm, who's projected the same amount of points as Joe Flacco, which we all know that's not going to happen. Joe Flacco is going to put up probably 3 or 4 times the amount of points that Geno will, and that's me saying that Geno's going to put up between 4 to 6 points. No way he puts up 19. So I think that's when you look at even their average points per game this season. It's only separated by 5. Jose's got much better odds if he sets his lineup than Corbin. So he's got right now, Jose's got 2 empty spots on his bench. He's got a wide receiver, Devontae Smith on a bye. He adds someone in there, and he's got a defensive lineman on a bye. He's got 2 spots free. He can fill those roles, and I think this is a dead even game.
Yeah. He also, I hope he plays not Joe Flacco. I mean, he has 3 quarterbacks, Jared Goff and Trevor Lawrence.
He's got Jared Goff.
In my opinion, slightly better options. It would be funny if he sticks with Joe Flacco because Joe Flacco has been kind of surging, but I think Jared Goff's a little more consistent points there. But yeah, that could be a really good one. And like you said, it could have some big implications.
And if, again, as a manager, if he's able to then, because he's got Devontae Smith on a bye and doesn't really have another receiver other than Chris Moore to put in that spot, but if he could flip one of those quarterbacks for a wide receiver, a serviceable player to put in that one of those positions, either in the flex spot or in that receiver spot, I mean, he could be looking pretty nice.
I hear Corbin is actually looking for another quarterback. So, Billy Buck, reach out.
Managerial moves, something that I think all of us would consider, trying to get one of those QBs out of there for a receiver. Just a move I don't think he's going to make. And I think he's going to end up riding with someone like, let's see who's even on the wire here. Maybe a little Andre Yoshibas, the Flacco Yoshibas.
The stack.
Stack everyone wanted. The Bengals stack everyone's looking for.
Flacco Yoshibas. Dude, freaking Yoshi. It's like a Mario character.
Also, I love looking at Corbin's team right now and seeing Bayshaw Tootin starting at running back for him after what his team looked like a week ago. To see Tootin in there, Drake London still questionable, may not play against New England, and even if he does, there's no saying that he'll be able to produce anything in that really fickle Atlanta Falcons offense. I mean, I think Corbin should be on a red alert this week, and I think if he loses a second in a row, check your DMs. I think some trade offers are going to be sent out there that might favor your teams a little bit. I think it's going to be one to watch.
Hey, Corbin, if you're watching this, just respond back to me, dude. Like I've texted you and I've sent you a DM. Just respond back. That's all you got to do. Respond, dude. Anyway, Chris, you got a game?
Yeah, I got our newly minted player, Mr. South Georgia Catfish versus Wes. I do think if Bob loses, he also has to quit the league. I think we need to start like our own little guillotine league here. But no, I mean, if you're new coming to the league, this is kind of the matchup you want. You want a matchup that in theory seems like an easy win. I don't know who Wes is going to be fielding as a quarterback because right now it's Kirk Cousins, who I don't think is going to be the starter, and his other two QBs are on bye. He's
Holy
going to
cow,
have to
dude.
get. If he's able to deal, so I think we found the deals that should be made is between Wes and maybe Billy Buck. But if he's able to deal, it could become close. But I think Bob's going to take this, get his first win in the league here, and if not, we're going to have to kick Bob out Monday morning. So start looking.
I love that. Anybody, if you lose to Wes, you're automatically out.
Yeah.
But I don't even think we need to do it. I think the managers will just self-elect.
Exactly.
They'll just leave.
They know their spot. Out to pasture.
Oh, that's good, dude. Noel, what about you, man? You got a matchup?
Yeah, we haven't talked about the Chris and James matchup, have we?
Hot dog bowl?
Nope.
No, we have not.
The hot dog.
I mean, you say hot dog bowl, but both you guys at 3-5. James, I would say that out of the top 4 wide receivers in the NFL, Jamar's got Flacco, who we all say is on a tear here. Not a good quarterback. Justin Jefferson, who I put at second, has Wentz and J.J. McCarthy. And then 3 and 4, Lamb and JSN, I think. Darnold and Dak are way more serviceable than those other two guys. So I would argue 2 of the best, if not the best options at receiver on your roster. You got Swift, you got Nix. There's some good players there to make a little run here. We look at the other side, Jordan Love. I mean, what is he on the season? Top 12 QB, and they had a bye week, so it's probably even higher than that because he has really only had one bad game. Dobbins, Jones, Puka, Marv, Kenbo. I mean, there's a lot of good players on both sides here. 2 teams at 3-5. Again, just like the situation I'm in. You go to 4-5, you're in a great spot. You drop to 3-6, your season's looking like it might be over. So this is a huge, huge matchup here. I think, and with the projections are 12 points off, but 2 open slots right now. For Chris, that's going to be pretty much a dead even race heading into the weekend. I think the most ramifications for both teams in terms of playoffs or not would be this matchup.
Yeah, it's a good call.
This is a game that I will not be looking forward to Sunday. I'm going to be grateful that I may be in the mountains without cell signal as this game's foundation is set during the 1 o'clock window. And I just hope that I don't leave the woods, leave Pisgah National Forest, drive by that Pizza Hut on the way out, get my cell signal, and find that I'm down by 50. We'll find out, though. We'll see. I think it could go either way.
I think I have one player Monday night, and we're going to be sitting watching that game together. I would love for Marvin Harrison to produce some electric Monday night comeback for me.
Marvin versus CD on Monday night.
I was just about to say, guys, we're going to be together for that matchup. And Sunday night game is Seattle versus Washington. Seattle, Chris, you recently got K-Dub. And James, you've got Bill on that Sunday night game. So
and JSN.
Those and JSN. Talk about 2 games to end the weekend that have huge ramifications for you guys. Oh my gosh, that's so fun, dude.
Yeah, I'm pumped. It's just gonna make Monday night all that better. Hopefully it lives up to our expectation, and Bob and Rico can see a good time.
Yeah. Agreed. Last one they haven't talked about is Mav versus Dolphin Death. I mean, I think it should be a pretty easy win for Dolphin Death here. I mean, Mav, he doesn't have anyone in his RB1 spot. In his RB2 spot, he's starting Devin Neal, who even as of right now is questionable due to an ankle issue to play. And so he might, who knows if he'll even be starting any running backs. Plus Calvin Ridley is still dealing with hamstring issues. So I think across the board, I think this should be almost stamped dub, auto dub loading for Dolphin Death.
I do think one thing here that is very scary, if you're Dolphin Death, is Mav just spent $19 at re-adding Tank Bigsby back to his lineup. Great use of fab. Starting potentially both of the Eagles running backs next week when they're out of their bye. Very dangerous running back duo right there in Saquon and Tank.
Again, managerial decisions into the season. Great roster to start the year, but every year it's going to fizzle out because of moves like that. I mean, if you look at Saquon's thing, confident to play week 10, expects to play week 10, not dealing with serious injury. I just don't get it.
Yeah.
Real quick,
I get it. Fantasy Pros waiver suggestions. Pick up Tank Bigsby.
Real quick note, as this might be a good segue into waiver wire claims that were processed. On the Tank Bigsby, obviously Luke Mav spent $19 on him. How much fab does Rory have left?
It's got to be 0 because he spent 14 today.
He did. He put
right back at it.
He put 14 on Tank.
That was awesome.
He put 14. Oh, I love that. That's just. Oh man, that's just so good. Love that. I mean, I don't know how much to laugh. I mean, I put 19 on Devin Singletary, so.
I think that's a better ad, frankly, but
I think that backfield will end up being more split than people think.
Yeah, agreed. So. Agreed, which is why I thought I was bidding high at 5. One thing I'm going to say on Rory, so he actually did spend $14 this week, though, on Roman Wilson, who, maybe he thought he was getting big-time Russell Wilson. I don't know if he maybe got them confused. But $14 for Roman Wilson, who has scored a season total of roughly 20 points. Great ad for Rory there.
And you take out the last game, it's 4 points.
It's 4 points. And a season combined, 10 targets on the year. So great ad, $14. So a little more than $1 per target this season. I think that's a great decision there from Stutterbutter.
He dropped. Did you see who he dropped?
Yeah, yes.
Jimmy Horn, who he had just spent $10 on a couple weeks ago.
And he was so high on Jimmy Horn. Oh
man, can't wait to see Roman Wilson back on the waivers here in a couple weeks.
But here's the thing. Yeah. Well, here's the thing, though. He has $1 left. He's not at 0. He has $1 left. So someone soon is going to be worthy of 100% of his remaining fab, and I can't wait to see who that individual is.
That is spectacular.
Oh, man, that's so funny.
Also, Noel, great ad for you, getting Tatum Bethune.
Very happy with that.
Very impressive ad.
Yep,
very impressive ad after the Fred Warner injury.
I'm getting low here on fab, so I was wondering, deciding how much I needed to put on it, and was going to put $3, which obviously would have ended up being enough, but I wanted to make sure I solidified him, knowing that Warner was out, knowing he's a solid player, and knowing that Patrick Queen has been absolutely horrendous for me this season when he started out so strong. Needed another option. So honestly, my defense right now led by Barrett Carter, the rookie for the Bengals, and this Tatum Bethune guy. I never would have thought that would have been where we're at, but sure enough, this is it.
Never even heard of him until today.
Say that again.
Oh man, that's good. Hey, let's jump into, what do you say? We go top 3, bottom 3. Noel, what you got, man?
We'll start top 3. I'll go 3, 2, 1. My 3 may be a little bit shocking, but I am still going to go with William Corbin at 3. I think he has floundered big time here. He was a solid top 3 option just a few days ago, and has definitely shot himself in the foot a little bit. My next tier under that would probably be the likes of Dolphin Death, Girth, and Mav. And I just have a little bit more excitement about Corbin's roster and some of the pieces that he has than what some of those other guys have. And what could happen with it. McCaffrey's always going to be a stud. Having him and Hurts as kind of that 1-2 punch. I mean, you can get a ton of points each week from that. London, you don't know, but he could be solid. I mean, drafted as a top tier player for him. He's had some games, 24 points, 29 points, could be really good. Addison, solid. And then Rashee Rice and Pickens. I mean, he has a lot of pieces still. And I do think he'll figure out what to do with them. Brashard Smith, I think, will be a good play this week if he throws him in there. I don't know if he will. Pacheco out. They're playing the Bills. Kareem Hunt's just not super explosive. I think they're going to get him a lot more usage, and I think that's why they were giving him a couple of games there in those blowout victories where he was getting 35%, 30% of snaps to get him a little bit more familiar with the NFL game. So I still think he has a great squad. He definitely made some mistakes, but I still think he could turn it around. But if he were to lose this week, I do think he's going to go into a panic and start going crazy with some moves that he's going to make. So this week has a lot to do with how the season's going to end up going. At number 2, I am going to go with Ricky. I know he's probably the presumptive number 1 for everybody. He's got a great roster, and some things have turned out well for him. But when you compare his roster to Brad's roster, I just struggle putting Ricky ahead. Let me see what we got here. Yeah, I mean, JT, obviously a great option. The option, the guy that everyone wants. What a savvy move on draft night. We were all mocking this guy like crazy. And then a couple rounds later, I take Caleb Johnson, who hasn't touched the ball in 3 months for the Steelers, which may be my worst draft pick of all time. Right as I made it, telling Brad, I hate Jalen Warren. This is the guy. Having had Jalen Warren last season, and they still gave it to old man Najee, I was like, oh, Caleb Johnson's built just like Najee. Arthur Smith is going to fall in love with him. Sure enough, didn't work out like that.
Crazy.
And we talk about some of the luck that guys like Corbin had drafting, talk about some of the luck that even Ricky, hitting on JT, hitting on Tyler Warren. I think if we look at Brad's roster too, one of the luckiest managers in terms of every single one, even before this trade went through, every single one of those running back picks hitting. It would have either been Warren or Johnson. He hit with Warren, picking him after I got Johnson. I think Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet have been a little bit of a split. But you look at Dobbins. I think everyone thought after the first 2 weeks, RJ Harvey would take over. Hasn't happened. And you even look at, let me pull his roster up here.
Woody Marks.
Woody Marks. Is it Mixon? Is it Chubb? I liked Marks, but never thought that he would get this much usage. So to hit on all those guys, have Nico Collins, who I personally love, having a solid quarterback. I think it'll come down to if Jaden can stay healthy. You got Tucker Kraft at tight end. I mean, there's just a plethora of players. Then you look on the bench. Kendrick Bourne, solid. Josh Downs, solid. If Ricky P comes back, solid. I like Jalen Coker. I think he's a good player. And I think he can get a lot more usage here in the coming weeks. Isaiah Davis, solid. He has depth. He has great pieces in the starting lineup. And he seems like he's been wise with the moves that he has made this season. So I got to give him the edge. 1 versus 2 with Ricky. It's close. But if they played this week, I do think that Brad would, or if they played with all their pieces healthy, I should say, at this point, I think that Brad would be the better team.
Hearing all those running backs that hit while sitting here with Travion Henderson and Bill Krosky makes me want to projectile vomit.
Yeah.
But that's all right. It's not about me.
Oh, dude, I'm just laughing so hard because just knowing how pumped you were to have Hendo.
I was so excited to have Hendo.
Was that a round 2 pick or round 3?
That was a round 2 pick, the pick prior to Chuba Hubbard. And I viewed Chuba as someone who we signed Rico. I thought Rico, it took him a little bit, but I thought he would, eat into that a little bit. And I thought Chuba's legs after the usage the last 2 years probably wouldn't hold up. I thought Hendo was far and away the better option at that position in the draft. Little would I have known that DeAndre Swift, who I took probably 2 rounds later, would be my best back. And he's been great, but I never expected him to be my RB1.
Yeah.
Shocking.
Yeah, Hendo, Mike Vrabel, there are war crimes against Mike Vrabel for how he's handled this running back situation this year.
So bad, dude. It's brutal. Absolute brutal. All right, no. Bottom 3, man. Hit us with it. What you got?
I think there are right now, unfortunately, a definite final or bottom 2. And outside of that, I think there's really a mix for who that third could be. I'll go last place first. It's got to be Wes. I mean, his roster is just not good. He does not have a lot of talent. The quarterback position is abysmal. Even if they were not on buys, I mean, does Justin Fields start when they come out of the bye? Your other option is Dylan Gabriel. I mean, that's just really, really, really bad. Similar to how I felt on draft night, having Daniel Jones and Aaron Rodgers as my quarterbacks. Then you look at the other skill position players. I think Rashad White and Bucky Irving are interchangeable there for whoever is the starting back. So you got one good back there. Tyjae Spears is fine. Xavier Worthy, and obviously Amon-Ra is his solid piece. Outside of that, there's just not really any talent. And I think he will unfortunately be the one that is left eating some dogs. But who knows? He might make some moves. He's already made a trade thus far. He could turn it around. We'll see. In that 15th slot, I think it's got to be Libby at this point. A great roster on draft night. Pretty much every single player has not panned out. I mean, look at that wide receiver core of Cortland Sutton, DJ Moore, T. Higgins. I mean, just what could have been with those 3 guys. I mean, so much on draft night to be excited about just hasn't panned out. Obviously, Gibbs is a stud. I think Pollard is going in the wrong direction right now. I think Pete Spears and him are in a true committee. But Spears, I think, will start taking over here with how horrific the Titans are. Although Luke did say they have one of the most up and coming offenses in the league, so watch out. Pollard may explode here following their bye week. But I mean, just an abysmal team. I think he's going to start going down. Trey Tucker's had some moments, and then I'm looking at that bench. I'm looking at that bench and just not seeing a whole lot. So Libby, I think be happy that Wes has the roster he does. But if he makes a couple moves here and you stay with what you got, there might be some dogs in your future.
It's in the car
right now. In that next spot, that 14th spot, I think it opens up a little bit more. I really do think that from 7 to 14, anything can happen. There's a lot of ambiguity going on right there. I'm going to pick one of the newcomers to be in that spot solely because they haven't experienced this league yet. And if I look at those 2 rosters, I do think that old Pickle Willie, B. Pickerel, has the lesser of the 2 rosters. Still a good squad, but I just don't know if he can make the necessary moves to pull it out. I still have hope for Jose. I didn't want to include him there because I do think he could still turn it around, but that's another one. That man, I mean, if he keeps floundering like he is, could end up again in that bottom bracket in that last game of the year. But that's the 3 that I have right now at the bottom.
Yeah. I will throw this out there. If you are still listening an hour and a half in, Gibbs is still on the block. For anyone that's listening, he is still on the block. It's got to be the right move for Gibbs, but he is there. So if you're still listening, anybody on my team is on the block.
I'll give you Hendo and Bill right now. Done deal. 2 for 1.
That's a good one. Right?
Finish it on the podcast.
It's a 2 for 1. Of course it's a good deal.
It's got to be good.
Man. Oh, that cracked me up. Your little slight there about Luke's trying to convince you to take Calvin Ridley because the Titans offense is up and coming.
These players, man, on the Titans are just
Sounds great.
booming.
No way. Did that actually happen?
No, not to me. I think it was earlier in the year on the podcast. It may have been before then.
No.
That he tried to swindle with that move, but just really stuck in my mind of the Tennessee Titans. If my guy DeMarcado doesn't fumble on the goal line, the Titans have 0 wins at this point. If that does not happen,
okay, Noel,
they've got killed.
Since you mentioned that, and we really the interview portion that we usually allot to interview the managers kind of went towards discussing the state of the league. But what went through your mind when that happened? The DeMarcado fumble.
That is a season-changing move for my roster in the fact that Caleb Johnson has not hit at all. I mean, he doesn't get on the field at all. I mean, I think it was my 3rd or 4th round pick, picked around the same time that JSN went off the board, which on draft night I was visibly distressed about not getting him, knowing what he could have ended up being, and sure enough, he has been an absolute stud. So only having Javonte and Kamara, who has not been good, and having no other backs, I really thought he's a pass-catching back. He's dynamic. Michael Carter's not the answer. Trey Benson's so-so. Like, this guy can provide a spark to this team. Got limited action the game before that week. Got a touchdown. Looked great. So far that game, Michael Carter is just playing horrible. 2 yards a carry. They finally give it to DeMarcado, 10-yard rush. They give it to him again. He breaks that. I get the notification. I'm sitting in my backyard. I'm ecstatic. I was like, this is it. I got my 3rd running back. Even if Trey Benson comes back, he's in the fold here. Like, this is it. This happened. This is perfect. I think it was the week I was playing Ricky. I have to look back and see. It was a game I had lost that if he had scored that touchdown, I would have won. But yeah, I mean, season-defining move. I spent all that fab. I very rarely will spend a lot of fab on guys. I like keeping $6 or $7 chunks for defensive players that I like throughout the year. But he was one that I was really confident in. Spent that money that week. The following week, Hampton goes down. Really liked Kamani Vidal. But knowing how much fab I had spent on DeMarcado, spent less. Missed out on him because Ricky spent more, and we see the difference between the two of those guys. So again, another really gut-wrenching move. If he holds on to the ball, what could have been for that game and for his season as a whole, I think at that point they start trusting him more, and I think he ends up being the lead back, at least the change of pace, 3rd down, the guy that's going to get all those valuable targets and valuable touches. But yeah, that was a tough one, especially at that point in the season. None of my guys are really panning out how I thought they would, and I thought that was kind of the spark that would have gotten it going, but sure enough, did not.
That was brutal.
I mean, yeah, I think he got in. I think the ball was still in his possession, still to this day. If you look at that over camera view, but sure enough, the NFL refs did not think so.
Noel, how another guy on your team that hasn't quite panned out? How do you feel about Brian Thomas Jr.?
Yeah, I mean, on draft night, I was shocked that he came back around to me. I think I had him on my spreadsheet as either wide receiver 6 or 7. In my mind, I'm thinking, okay, good receivers make good receivers in the NFL. You look at Jamar, you look at Jefferson, like these guys are studs. You look at JSN, they'll find a way, no matter the situation that they're in, to become alpha dog receivers. It always works out like that. I thought he had the archetype. I liked his size. I liked his rookie season production. He's an LSU guy. Trevor Lawrence likes throwing the ball. Travis Hunter's there to spread it out a little bit, but they don't have a so loaded offense like the Bears where you don't know which one is going to get it. And that's the situation. And Dunze has looked great because he's a great receiver, even in a crazy situation. So I was like, oh, this is perfect. Brian Thomas Jr. is in a perfect scenario, perfect setup. year 2, this is going to happen. And I mean, just an absolute fizzle so far. I do still think he can turn it around, which is why I've been very hesitant in trade negotiations to include him, just because I do think he can make something happen here. But I mean, totally different than what I expected him to end up doing.
Yeah, I think he's been one of the players that's been more shocking this NFL season. What we've talked about, and I think I said it before the podcast began, but pretty much everything we believed on draft night about everything has been completely wrong. He's another great example of that.
100%. 100%. It's been shocking to see his lack of involvement from day one. And just where did he go? This isn't the same dude from last year at all.
Not at all.
It's very shocking.
Even Marvin Harrison Jr., I mean, I thought would really step up this year.
Yeah.
Again, alpha receiver, all the intangibles that everyone always talks about in these stud receivers. And, I mean, it just hasn't happened at all. I have him in another league, and it's just super disappointing. I know, Chris, you probably had a lot riding on him as a cornerstone of your team, and to not get the production that you expect out of those guys, those second-round guys. He was second round for you, Marv?
Technically third, late third.
Those top 3 rounds are so vital in building your roster that when they don't pan out, it really messes with your season.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, man. What an episode today's been. Any final thoughts? Any last thoughts from either of you guys? Any of you guys?
Yeah. One final thought I haven't mentioned in a while. DJ is 15th points for and a 4-4 record. So I'm actually not rooting against DJ because with Noel I have money on the line and I should be believing and rooting for DJ. But I gotta state facts sometimes.
This is a big week for that, because if Corbin can get this dub, jump up to would that put him at 7 wins? I think
7. It's about untouchable.
I don't know if DJ, if he was 4-5, could climb out of that. So yeah, really big week for our bet here. Did not expect either of those teams to have this many wins at all.
My expectation is the last week of the season, it's going to be like 2 2-win teams who can maybe get a third win and secure the bet.
Oh, 1,000%.
Yeah, this was definitely shocking. Did not go the way I predicted at all. But hey, I'm here for it. Keep working, DJ. Make me my money. I'll split it with you.
So upsetting. 15th, and he's 4-4.
15 points for, 16 points against.
And he's 4-4.
2 straight years of that happened in Iceman last year at 7-7 with one of the worst seasons ever.
Yeah.
It's crazy how that works itself out.
Well, again, Iceman 4-4. He has the 14th points for. So hey, that's why we play the game.
But and Jose, 5th. He's still top 5 in total scoring.
Yep. And number one points against. So he's definitely got the brute end of it. But
that's tough.
I believe in you, DJ.
That's funny. Noel, any final thoughts, man?
No, I mean, we're coming to the home stretch here. It's gonna be a wild finish for those last couple of playoff spots. It really could go to pretty much anyone in the league at this point, because even you guys at the bottom, you still have room to turn it around. I feel like in previous seasons there were some 0-8s or 1-7s at this point with really horrible rosters. And I mean, you and Jose at 2-6, two solid squads that could still make the playoffs. So it makes for a lot of exciting matchups here. I think these new guys are going to add a cool wrinkle to the finish here, and I'm looking forward to hearing from them on the podcast next week.
Yeah, and the Deep South really is crazy because it's Rory leading at 4-4, and Daniel also at 4-4, Wes at 3-5, and you, John, at 2-6. Like you legitimately have a really good shot at
the
playoffs. Like with the guys ahead of you,
it's still there. It's still there.
It is right there. So yeah, like you said, man, it is gonna be something here. So
John could go 6-8 like Dolphin Death last year and make it.
yeah.
A
It's
complete
gonna happen.
inverse from Corrupt Commish being in last with a roster that I really like in his division, but seemingly no way to climb out from that.
I have
last
no
spot.
shot. Yeah, and I won't make the playoffs as a wild card either. There's just no way at this point. So it's very tricky division for me to navigate. Yeah, I think final thought for me is very excited for this new day in G Vegas Gridiron. Can't wait for pickleball on Monday night. Have really enjoyed this podcast, this hour and 42-minute podcast that we've put together so far.
We knew it was going to be a long.
We knew it was going to be it had to be a long one. Noel, you've been a great guest, and we really appreciate you being on tonight, and always value your insight. You're one of the managers in this league, I'll say it, that I have the most respect for and trust in. I always, no matter what situation is, I will never rule out Noel can get it. Noel will find a way. Noel can find a way. You're a savvy manager, and we're grateful to have you in this league.
I do appreciate it, fellas.
100%. Guys, this was awesome. I loved the three of us were back on. Noel, you were fantastic. This was so awesome. I mean, we called it beforehand that it was going to be 2 hours, and we are nearing on 2 hours. So well done, gentlemen. Excited for these last 2 months of the season. I mean, as we head into November, this is going to be so freaking fun. We got the 2 new guys coming on. Going to miss the old guys, but these 2 new guys bring a ton of energy. You can already kind of feel it. And really looking forward to the last 2 months. So, fellas, enjoy Halloween, eat lots of candy, and looking forward to Monday, and have a great weekend.
Let's go. Nice.
See you guys.
Peace.